this is Melanie, and this is a quick, easy mat class that you can do at home that doesn't have any flexion in it. So if you have a neck injury or maybe you're postpartum, this would be a great workout for you, okay? Now remember, make sure you are clear to work out by your doctor, right? And if you experience any pain, particularly in your neck, because that's what we're trying to avoid, that flexion and any neck tension or pressure, stop doing the workout and consult your doctor, okay? All right, enjoy. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start, we're gonna roll down or get down safely onto the mat so that you're on your back, however you need to do that. Just gonna center myself in the mat here. Arms are nice and long by your side, and we're just gonna take a moment to talk about neutral spine, neutral pelvis, because throughout the workout, I'm going to be asking you to observe your body and make sure that your spine or pelvis doesn't change from that neutral position. So I want you to feel that heaviness through the back of your head and lengthen through the back of your neck as well. Okay, so that you feel that pressure directly behind your eyes. If you're going to draw a line from your eyes to the back of your skull, that's where your head should be resting on the ground. All right, there should be a space behind your neck, and then you should feel nice and flat across your shoulders. So if you feel like your shoulders are rounding up, think about drawing your scapula in towards your spine a little bit and letting your shoulders drop down. The backs of your ribs should be in contact with the floor, and then you should feel a little space in your low back, and then you should feel like you're in contact with the floor through the back of your pelvis and of course your feet. So that's our starting position, and that's what I'm going to refer to throughout our workout together, okay? So we're going to take a nice big inhale and exhale. We're going to tuck the pelvis. We're going to draw in the belly button, imprint the low back into the mat, and roll up through the spine, reaching the knees across the room. Think about drawing the pubic bone up to the ceiling, right? So that my pelvis is higher than my rib cage, right? So I'm making a nice long diagonal line with my body. I'm pushing into the ground with my arms and thinking about keeping my collarbones open. Now, if at the top of your bridge you feel pressure in your neck, either come down a little bit or just do a pelvic tuck, meaning you stay on the mat and you're just imprinting the low back and then releasing the pelvis. So you're just tilting the pelvis. So that would be the most basic. But for the sake of this workout, we're going to do the full pelvic curl up into a bridge, nice and high, nice and long. Inhale and exhale, rolling down through the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, through the low back, and release that pelvis, right? So we're returning to that neutral position each time. We're articulating through the spine and up. Now, if you have any back issues, like a herniated disc or a bulging disc, you would hinge up versus articulate the spine to protect it. So more of spinal stabilization versus articulation. And rolling up. And I'm not a very good counter, but at home when you're doing this, following along, try to do between 8 and 10 reps of everything. I'm not going to do quite that many for this video so that it's not as long. And rolling down. Good, we're just going to do one more together. Inhale and exhale, just moving through the spine, engaging those glutes and hamstrings, but never letting go of those low abdominals at the top. And then rolling down. As you roll down, let's float those arms up to the ceiling so it happens together. Palms are facing one another. And we're going to inhale out to a T, reaching through the fingertips, making sure that my ribs aren't lifting up to the ceiling, or I'm not arching my ribs off the ground, okay? So we want to keep those connected, feeling a big stretch through the arms, and then press everything together. Press the ribs together, press the hands together up to the ceiling. So it's an inhale, opening the body up. And exhale, pushing all the air out and feeling all this come together. And inhale. Engage that diaphragm, engage that transverse abdominis. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Just getting some big breaths in the body, opening up the shoulders. So we were focusing more on the pelvis in the last exercise. Here we're opening up those arms and working those arms and the lungs. And exhale. And then open out to that T here, resting the backs of the hands on the mat. If you need to come down a little bit so it's more comfortable on your shoulders, go ahead and do that. Just figure out what works for you. And then we're going to take one leg up into tabletop. We're going to transition on the ground. So as I bring one leg down, I'm going to pick the other leg up. And we're just going to go from side to side, setting one foot down and picking the other foot up. And I want you to make sure that you're not shifting your weight from side to side. That transition happens in the abdominals, stabilizing the pelvis and the spine. Good. And up. Good. And up. And then we're going to come back to our starting leg, picking it up to the tabletop, and then we're going to press the opposite arm up to the ceiling. So I got opposite arm, opposite leg going here. The leg's going to go down, the arm's going to open out to a T, and then switching. Opposite arm, opposite leg. And if you can coordinate this with an exhale, big diaphragmatic exhale, then you're going to feel much more abdominal engagement than just breathing out of your nose, because we're now involving the diaphragm and the transverse abdominis and our obliques all at the same time. And of course some hip flexor. All the while the neck stays long and relaxed, and we don't want to have tension in the upper part of our shoulder girdle, so we don't want those shoulders to creep up into our ears. We want to keep that neutral spine, neutral pelvis. And inhale and exhale. One more to each side. And exhale. And last one. Let's hold that leg there. Open the arm out, scoop the other leg up. So now we've got both legs off the floor. Now this may cause your pelvis to tilt and your back to arch more. So you may need to think about tucking the pelvis, slight imprint of the low back down into the mat, okay? Focusing on turning off those low back extensors and keeping the work in the belly, okay? We're going to squeeze those legs together so that the knees and the ankle bones are connected. And I like to say, like, pretend like you've got something important that you're holding on to. Just keep those arms nice and wide out at a T position. And then I'm going to go to my left. Inhale. The legs are going to go over. Knees stay connected. The hip's going to come up. My shoulder stays down. And then I pull it back with an exhale. Inhale to go over. Exhale to bring it back. Good. And inhale, making sure my back doesn't arch here. So I'm drawing the belly in. And then pull it back. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And pull it back. And over. Now you can stay with this version, or you can add a variation. So we're going to go over to our left. We're going to straighten the top leg. The knees stay connected. I pull it to center and bend. I come over. I reach that top leg. I pull it back and I bend. One more to each side like that. We go over and reach and back and bend and over and reach and back and bend. I'm going to add one more variation, a little bit more advanced. We're going to go over to our left. Both legs are going to go out. Pull it center and bend and over and reach. Pull it center and bend and over and reach and center and bend and over and reach and center and bend. Good. Reaching both legs out nice and long. We're going to pull it in. This time I want you to round your back, pull your knees in. You can even pull them in with your arms the first time. And let's actually move our arms to our side for this one. And inhale, reach it out. Slight tuck of the pelvis here. Pull it in. Now, let's talk about our leg height. The lower the legs, the more challenging this is going to be on the abdominals, but the more likely your spine is going to want to arch. So listen to your body. Send your legs out at the height that you can keep this connected and pull it back. And inhale and exhale, pull it back. And reach it out and pull it back. And reach it out and pull it back. Give it a hug in. Reach one leg long. Keep the other one in tight for a little hip flexor stretch. There's a lot of hip flexor work there. Let's give them a little bit of a release. Hug both knees into transition to the other side. Reaching that leg out nice and long. Pull it in, both knees. Come back to tabletop, arms up into the ceiling here. I want to work a little bit more of our obliques, okay, which can be challenging when we can't lift our head, but we've got a few things we can do, okay? Rotate the palms so they face your legs, right? Arms are vertical. Same arm, same leg are going to reach and press together. Again, make sure the spine is unchanging. And then bring it back and press and bring it back, putting the body off balance so that we have to stabilize. We have to use our oblique muscles to keep the spine stable. Good. Shoulders are out of the ears, neck is long. We don't want the shoulders lifting off the ground. If that's happening, then the leg needs to go higher, right? More here. So find that place. Play with it and see what your body needs. So it's challenging, but safe at the same time. Because we want to create positive movement patterns in our body. Good, I'm going to do one last one to my left. And back to center. Hug those knees in. Good, maybe even give a gentle rock from side to side. All right, let's go ahead and turn onto our side. Now again, if you've got some neck issues, you may want to have a ball handy or a yoga block, and you can use this as a little pillow to support your neck, right? So you could be here with your neck, or if you don't have a ball and you don't have neck issues per se, you can just rest your ear on your bicep, okay, which is what I typically do. So this is how I typically set up for this exercise. We're going to do some side leg lifts. Now ideally we want the legs right in line with the body. However, we want to make sure we're working our obliques, not our back. okay? So we may want to, or at home, you may want to bring your feet slightly in front of your body, so you're kind of in a banana shape, and that's going to bring more of the focus here, okay? So if you're doing this exercise and you're feeling the work back here, we need to bring it here. So bring those feet forward just a little bit in front of the body, so when you look down, you can easily see your feet. This hand is supporting, head on the bicep. We're going to take a nice big inhale, lift from the bottom side body so you can slide your hand under there, and then exhale. We're going to press down into the floor with that side body and lift our legs and lengthen. You can do it with flex feet or pointed feet, whatever works for you. And then we're going to lower down, to a hover. So we're not going to come all the way down to the ground, no plopping. And then exhale, we're going to lift and lengthen out of the body and then lower. Again, making sure that focus is in our upper oblique. We're pressing that lower oblique down into the mat right there, and then we're allowing it to lift up as we come down to that hover or tap. Okay, I just don't want you resting on the ground. And exhale, lifting and lengthening. This is open and long. All right, nice and long. Making sure we turn off muscles we don't need. The lower inner thigh is working as well. So if you feel that bottom leg, that's good. And lift and lengthen. We're going to do one more. And lift and lengthen. Good. Now we're going to keep that height. Top leg is going to lift and lower. And lift and lower. Hips are stacked. Shoulders are stacked, so we don't want to be leaning back or leaning forward. Good. And lifting. It's not a big lift. We want to keep the height of that bottom leg. And lift. Good. And lift. And lift. And connect. Now bottom leg goes down and lifts. And down. And lifts. Good. Getting that inner thigh, that lower leg even more. Good. And this is still working here. Whoop. And lift. And one more. And lift. Connect those legs together. Reach out of those legs. And lower down. All right. Nice job. Now we're going to do the other side. Now remember, if you've got neck issues, be nice to yourself, okay? Push yourself up and then shift yourself around and lie down. Get yourself set up. Take time to get set up properly. All right? It's all about the setup in Pilates. Good. So if you have your ball here, put your ball. Hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked, tension free right here. Front arm is supporting. Reaching out of those feet. If they need to be forward, bring them forward. And then we lift and lengthen and lower. Lift and lengthen. Now when you do unilateral work, so working one side of the body like we're doing now, you may notice a big difference from one side to the next. So you may have to make some adjustments so that you can connect to those obliques. So maybe on one side you could do this in alignment, but on the other side, you needed to bring your feet forward. So just be observant of what's happening and don't be afraid to make some adjustments. Listen to your body. It will tell you what it needs. And lower. And lift and lengthen. Now here when I'm lifting and lengthening, I want to make sure that I'm not rolling back, right? So I'm keeping that top hip stacked. And then I'm going to hold that lift. And I'm going to lift just the top leg and lower down. And lift, and lower, and lift, and lower. Good, keeping that height of that bottom leg as much as I can. Lifting and lowering. Let's do two more. Good, and last one. And down. Now the bottom leg goes down and lifts. And down and lift. Good. Down and lift. And down and lift. Good. Let's do two more of these. And last one. Squeeze those legs together and lower down. All right, nice work. We're going to help ourselves up now. And we're going to come to a quadruped position here. Hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. Now it's really important in this position that we don't let our heads sag down, right? Our heads already fall forward for the majority of the day. So I like to think about pressing the back of my head up into the ceiling. Like I'm pushing the floor away with my hands and I'm reaching the back of my head up to the ceiling. And in this position, I should feel my back extensors, which are the muscles along my upper spine, my upper back extensors. Susie, I'm doing a video here, baby. That's beautiful.
I want to watch it.
Okay, can you sit right there and watch me?
Yeah.
Okay, make sure I'm doing everything okay.
I want to see what it looks like.
Okay, you check it out. Okay, so what we're going to do here, even in this position, this might be a lot of work for you. I'm engaging my abdominals. I'm pushing the floor away, so I'm not letting my shoulders sag, and I'm reaching out through the back of my head. So a lot of work here. So I'm going to take my left arm, right leg, and I'm going to reach it out in opposite directions, okay? I'm going to bring it down without shifting my weight. I'm going to reach the other arm, other leg out in opposite directions, really lengthening here, and then bring it down. Just keeping it nice and smooth. Keep reaching out of the back of the head. If you keep everything engaged and move slow, this can be quite a challenging exercise. Now, I also want to think about not lifting my leg so high that my spine changes, right? So I don't want to arch my back. Reaching and down, and reaching and down, and reaching and down, and reaching and bring it down, and lengthening. One more to each side, and out, and down, and out, and down. Okay, so now we're going to come back to the left side, left arm, right leg. We're going to bring it out to the side. Ooh, my chair's back there. Oh well. Arm and leg go out to the side. Bring it back to that midline and down. And reach it out. Arm and leg go out to the side. Don't let anything change. Bring it back and down. And reach out to the side and back and down. Reach it out to the side, back to the midline, and down. Good. If you need a break, round back into a rest pose here.
No, this thing keeps falling down.
I will fix it in a second. I am working right now, love.
It's supposed to go like this.
And then come back into your quadruped, hands and knees. Let's do a few cat stretches here. Exhale. And then really reach the back of the head up to the ceiling here, pushing the floor away. And rounding. And lengthening the spine. And pushing the floor away. And this may look different for everyone. But we want to think about moving the spine, drawing in through the belly, not necessarily engaging the glutes here. I want the belly to do the rounding for me. And then here, the extension of the spine, the lifting, really important, and rounding, and lifting and lengthening. Good, coming to neutral, still thinking about reaching out the back of the head. I'm going to bend the elbows and tip forward, hinging up the hip, and push the ground away. Bending, tipping forward, and pushing. So basically a tricep push-up. Susanna, 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 I am working right now, okay? You need to wait. All right, so let's do just a couple more tricep push-ups here, okay? hinging at the hip. Now, if you want to make this more challenging, you would extend one leg, and as you do the tricep push-up, you would reach that leg to the ceiling and then push away and reach that leg up. So the glute and the hamstring is always involved.
I'm trying to put this back together, Mama.
And then you would do a few reps on the other side. Reach out and press. And press. And sit back and then end with a nice stretch of the spine.